Okay, question 37. Okay, when we're asking to solve these equations algebraically, we're actually looking to solve for x, right? X equals something, and also y equals something. Given these two equations, okay, there's a few ways to do it. You can do it by substitution, and you can do it by graphing, and the last way you can do is by addition. Okay. For this type of problem, if you recognize this, the quickest way actually is to do it by addition. Let me just rewrite these problems over here. Okay, what you want to do is actually cancel out one of the variables, right? Therefore, you can solve for the other variable. One way you can do this is find the additive inverse for one of the variables. Okay, in this case, you can choose either x or y. It doesn't matter which one you start with first. You can get the same answer in the end. Okay. Let's just choose the y here. Okay, the y's. I have 2y on top, 3y on the bottom. Right. What is their lowest common multiple that we can change these to, so we can actually cancel them out? Okay. Well, if you look at 2 and 3, right, the smallest number they have in common is going to be 6. So how can I change 2y to 6y? Well, if I multiply the top equation here by 3, I can change into a 6y. So 3 times 3x, that's going to give me 9x, sorry, right? And 3 times 2y is going to be 6y, equals 3 times 4, 12. Okay, so the top equation becomes like that after I multiply by 3. And now if I want to cancel out the 6y here, I need the additive inverse, which is a negative 6y. Well, how can I get this 3y here to become a negative 6y? I'm going to have to multiply by negative 2. Okay. So multiply this by negative 2. I get negative 6y there. And negative 2 times 4x, that's going to be negative 8x. And negative 2 times 7, that's negative 14. Okay. Now that we have additive inverse, which is this 6y and negative 6y, we're going to add the two equations together. And this way, the variables will cancel. 6y plus negative 6y. This one will cancel, it becomes 0. Okay. 9x plus negative 8x. That becomes 1x. Okay. And 12 plus negative 14, that's negative 2. Well, 0, we don't really need that. And 1x is just x, so x equals negative 2. Okay, so we solve for one part. We got x equals negative 2. We need to find y. How do we find y? We want to substitute negative 2 for x in one of the equations. It doesn't matter which one. Let's just choose the first one, the top one. Bring it down. Well, it's 3x, but instead of x, we'll plug in negative 2 now. Plus 2y equals 4. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, plus 2y equals 4. Alright. And I want to add 6 to both sides because I want to solve for y. Equals 10. And you divide both sides by 2. You get y equals 5. Alright. And those are my solutions. X equals negative 2 and also y equals positive 5. Okay. Done. Okay, this question over here, they want you to graph both inequalities and state the coordinate of the point in the solution set. Well, let's graph these two. First thing you want to do is you want to label the graph. Don't forget to label on the regents because they will take off points if you forget. Okay. 2. Okay, make sure the axes are labeled. In this case it is x and y. Alright, so let's start graphing these points. Let's graph the easier one first, which is going to be the x is greater than 2. Well, x is greater than 2 is going to be a vertical line. But because it's greater than and not equal to, it's going to be a dotted line. Alright? And which side is greater than? Well, greater than is going to be the side with all the numbers greater than 2 on the x-axis. So that will be, try to highlight this, it's going to be on the right side. Okay? All this, that is x is greater than 2. Now let's draw the other line. Okay, and this one over here is going to require some work. Okay, you have 2x minus y is greater or equal to 6. So we need to solve for y here. We want to get y on one side and all the numbers on the other side. Okay, subtract 2x. This gives me negative y is greater or equal to negative 2x plus 6. And what I need to do to get rid of this negative y, well, you can either divide by negative 1 or multiply by negative 1. Alright, it doesn't matter which one, you can do either one. Let's multiply by negative 1. Let's do it for both sides, negative 1. Okay, when negative 1 times negative y, that's positive y, that's what we wanted. And negative 1 times negative 2, that's positive 2. Negative 1 times negative 6, that's negative 6. And notice when we multiply or divide by negative number, we have to flip the signs. Okay? Flip the signs. That's y is less than or equal to 2x minus 6. And let's graph this. Well, the starting point is going to be negative 6, right? It's going to be right here. 6. Slope is 2. I'm going to go up 2, 1 over. Go up 2, 1 over. Go 2, 1 over. Right, you keep on doing these. And you want to draw a line. Right, this time the line is a solid line. And one thing I forgot to mention is you want to label your line after you're done. Okay? Sometimes they might take off points for this also. You want to just do all the steps to maximize your points. Okay? And you have the two lines grafted. Well, there's one more thing I'm missing. I need to shade in the side that's less than or equal to, right? And if you guys remember, less than or equal to, right, less than side is always the side of the line that's facing down. So like shade down is actually this side of the line that's facing down. Right, less than is facing down and greater than is facing up. There you go. Alright, so which area in this graph that I color with both two markers, that is going to be the solution set. So this entire section over here is going to be our solution. I can choose any point here as a solution. Alright, let's just pick a random point, it doesn't matter where. Let's say over here, that's my random point as a point in the solution set, and that is 9, comma 2. Right, that's an answer. If I want, I can choose another point. I can choose a point over here. That's fine. And that is 6, comma negative 4. Okay. Alright, here's a common mistake that people choose. People actually choose this point over here where the two lines intersect. This point over here. That's 2, negative 2 as part of the solution set. This is actually not part of the solution set, and you will get marked incorrect if you choose this point. Why? because the vertical line, x is greater than 2, right? It's greater than 2, it's not equal to 2. Actually, this point is not part of that line of intersection, okay? So don't choose this point, you'll get marked correct, but choose any point outside where my S is. Okay, and that ends the tutorial on this question 38.